Strike! Peanuts! Get your peanuts!
Nice move here. Hot dogs, get your hot dogs here.
Hear ye, we are reporting live from the Lincoln Lounge for Honest Abe's Sports Report. We were covering all the hot topics surrounding the sports world. Please follow us across all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also find us on all listening platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. As always, I'm the sexy Gretzky George Cresco, and I'm alongside a few sports enthusiasts that are football throwing, baseball bat swinging, basketball dribbling, swinging for the fence. It's a home run. You vicious ass rant, Kyle Carini.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Always welcome in the Lincoln Lounge. Speed Racer Hunter Combs.
Hey, guys.
And the one, the only, Tito Round Tripper Baseball Whisperer.
What's up, guys? Happy to be here.
Kyle, how the hell are you today, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Just getting used to fall. Been watching some good football games. The league's been crazy as far as some of those games. And, happy to see the Guardians were able to clinch. So, yeah, it's been.
Oh, we're going to get in the Guardians
good.
clinching here in a few. Tito, how's the bat swinging today?
Oh, good, very good.
How good?
Oh, we're seeing the ball well, and we're trying to have a multi-hit game here.
Making contact.
Yeah.
Tito's been everywhere lately in baseball.
He has been everywhere. Hunter, you're looking extra fast there today.
I'm all right. We're here. Close. It wasn't looking good here for a little bit, but we made it. But, yeah, what Kyle was saying with football, there's been a lot of freaking upsets lately. This whole league, this first 3 weeks have been pretty entertaining for the most part.
Ohio State had a scare with Marshall in the first half.
Nah,
there's holes in that defense, boy.
Their two running backs look so. I just seen the stats.
Oh,
on
your
it.
running backs are really good.
Yeah.
Their running backs are good. Ohio State's offense is good.
Yeah. The first 3 weeks.
I want to see. I didn't even put any Ohio State Michigan talk in today, but I want to see how Will Howard will respond against like a good defense.
Yeah.
Because right now that no one's played anybody.
No.
Except other than Michigan playing. Actually, Michigan had a pretty tough 3 games. Not the week 1.
Was it Notre Dame or no?
They lost to Texas.
Texas,
and then they beat USC this past week.
Yeah.
That was a good game. That was a good
game-winning drive and didn't throw the ball once, 80 yards.
Oh shit,
dude! I'm telling you, you're gonna see some you're gonna see some Army shit out of Michigan in the next coming weeks because they can't throw the football. So you're gonna see some crazy ass fucking formations like old school 1912 offense. I was talking to Tito before. You're gonna start to see some crazy shit because the receivers suck. You might as well put tight ends out there blocking.
So they basically have like a complete reset going on.
Oh, it's Well, they
have 2 quarterbacks. I remember.
Well, they started.
Yeah.
The guy that I thought was going to start, Orgy, which is a funny name,
yeah.
and I like him even more. But I thought he was going to be the starter because he's 6'4", fucking like 300 pounds. Like he's a mass. He's not 300 pounds, but like 240. So he's a big quarterback. So I thought he was going to be the starter. But now this week they just ran the ball with him like the entire game. Him and his running backs. I'm like, fuck it.
Damn.
Well, anyway, let's get into our baseball talk, shall we? Oh, I accidentally exited out of my talk here. We have quite a bit of baseball to talk about. Let's get through it. I know Kyle and Tito are chomping at the bit to talk some baseball, so let's get into it. The Cleveland Guardians are the AL Central champions.
Hey!
Fog!
Hey.
Oh!
Cue the pyro.
Damn it, my red button went off. So.
Hey, hell of a job by them. Great job for Stephen Vogt and the rest of a lot of guys stepping up. Came up from the minors this year. Some pretty good pitching, especially the bullpen. I'm glad they got it done. I think we all predicted they would get it done, and I think there at the end the Royals kind of fell off, so that kind of allowed us to, and then we were able to beat the Twins, so got it done.
Hell yeah!
And they're at 90 wins now.
It's hard to win a major league division. It's harder with a rookie manager, and it's even harder with 4 legitimate playoff contenders. So, yes, a ton of work to be done, but hell of an accomplishment sewing up this division.
You lost your ace, too. And Bieber only pitched 2 games, so and
people forget about that about Bieber. Like
It happened so
he was,
long
our, he was
ago.
our ace pitcher, and it happened wasn't he supposed to start week 1 or the week 1? Home opener, and then it happened the week of, and he ended up starting. It was before the season started, right?
He had
because we had a 7-game road trip and we burned him up.
He had
2 starts in 5 games.
He had 2 great starts, and then it happened.
Yeah.
We played the A's, I think, opening day. We were watching at Frank and Tony's, and they were on the road out there. And then by the time he came back, because they who pitched? Was it McKenzie when we went to the home open? That was during the Eclipse. Yeah, McKenzie pitched or whatever. And everyone seems to forget it was so long ago.
And can I mention something real quick? 'Cause I heard this morning. So Cincinnati Reds fired their manager. Did you hear this?
Yeah, David Bell. I hope he gets another shot, man. Buddy's grad kid, good
dude. Did you kind
dude.
of hear what he said, though? He was like, we're not a big market baseball team and blah, blah, blah. Well, then people started questioning him. He's like, well, what about Cleveland? Cleveland's not a big market baseball team.
That doesn't track.
And they've won, 10 championships in the last 20 years of the AL Central champion. So, he didn't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
We're literally like the underdog of all the big markets. We're like the best underdog team out of the big markets, if you want to say. We're we overachieve for what? For how cheap our freaking owner is.
Yeah, and we've said that all season long. We definitely overachieved, but now we look the part. We're playing the part. So.
Yeah, they did use duct tape and bubble gum to piece together some starting rotation, and they with the injuries they've had, bringing guys up from the minors. I mean, look how good Manzardo's doing, and he just got recalled.
You think we're playing good baseball right now, and Kwan's not even playing.
Yeah, he'll be back soon, and but it's great to see how well they come together.
Our bats are going to have to carry us. That's for
so
sure.
90 wins. Hopefully they'll get a few more here. 5 games left, including tonight.
Magic numbers 1 to sew up the bye. The Astros, before they face us, our magic number's 1 to sew up that bye. The Astros haven't locked up their division, but the Mariners can't overtake us in the West. The Astros can. Magic number's 1. So just any win by us, any loss by the Astros, and we've got it. You don't want to count anything before it happens, but the Astros are facing tough-ass pitchers the next 2 days, so we're hoping we put that bye to bed and just play this last weekend basically for fun. We still technically have a chance to catch the Yankees, but I think we're 2.5 games behind them with 5 to play, so that doesn't look great. It's nice that we still have a chance, but realistically, not a whole lot of people make up 2.5 games with 5 games left. We probably won't catch the Yankees, but let's at least get that bye from Houston.
So we're close. We're close.
We're so close.
And that's what's kind of cool with, sometimes you clinch and you kind of coast in the playoffs, but now we're actually playing for that seed, though, which is fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Plenty of incentive still.
So if we lock down this number 2 seed, which is the way things look, then we could face either Houston or Detroit.
Freaking Detroit's been rolling,
yeah,
too.
And listen, Detroit just won this afternoon. Unfortunately, love Emmanuel Clase. We'll get to that in more depth later, but Scooball probably locked up the Cy Young today. He's chasing the pitching triple crown and 7 shutout innings in this game today. So, yeah, dude, Detroit's right there.
And we were talking about that if Clase could potentially win the Cy Young, which it's not looking like that.
It isn't looking like that. I'm a huge homer, dude. If I could see any holes or openings in the story, I'd be like, rah, 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 give it to him. But it's just...
And that's so hard, for a closer that doesn't pitch as many innings as starters to win the Cy Young, in my opinion. But what Clase did this season was pretty... It was pretty special.
I would say yes. You got to respect the tradition of the award. It's not impossible for a closer to win, but traditionally it's a starter's award to win.
Has a closer ever won it?
Yes. I don't have my exact facts, but actually closers have won a couple of MVPs. Okay. So obviously if closers have won a couple MVPs, they've won some Cy Young awards.
I think of
Storm
Mariano
Davis,
Rivera,
Roberto Hernandez in the 80s. Yes, a lot of more modern storied relievers if I'm not mistaken, Rivera, I know for a fact, never won an MVP.
Never won a Cy Young, I don't think either.
Exactly, yeah,
So
whatever. Berate me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm 95% sure Rivera never won a Cy Young. And these are 500 save, multiple World Series winners. So it's not as if relievers never win a Cy Young. It's extremely rare. Scooball's probably going to lock up the Triple Crown. It's crazy. Scooball and Sale both have a shot at the pitching Triple Crown. ERA, wins.
Sale got hot during the summertime, too. He started rolling. Chris Sale, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Chris Sale, yeah.
Scuball, he was a favorite at the beginning of the year because remember that parlay I was putting together for like the Warriors
Right.
or whatever? I was like, he was the one most potential or promising guy coming out of Detroit at the start of the year. And he got off to a rough. He was sketchy at first, but now he started rolling too and all that. But the crazy thing with Class A is that he gave up a lot of saves to let Barlow go and not some saves because we were winning so much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't pitch every night. And
I
they
know.
wanted to save him. I was like, if he could have if they really wanted to try, be like, hey, you want to try to get the Cy Young? He would have been out there every night, and he would have had a legitimate shot at it.
Oh, yeah, had we beat him like a rented mule and he had 60 saves and counting right now, then it would be like, you have to give him the award.
And that's
His
what's pretty-
ERA's under 1, he's
And
got
if
60
you look at like the innings he has pitched Class A, he hasn't barely pitched. Like it's
That's the
pretty
best.
wild. Like
Dude, we have a couple of fun bullpen stats. We have one or two that's so fun we'll actually put the graphic up here.
yeah, I have the graphic. And that's what I was getting to do because I
Is
know
that
Kyle
next?
wanted
Yeah,
to
we
get
might as
to
well
it.
jump to that.
Kyle,
Yeah.
your graphic, baby.
Yeah, go ahead and set up your graphic.
I take
and
care
then
of my
I'll-
peeps.
Then I'll add some background to that.
Yeah, I mean, so you can see 2.61 ERA. I do believe for September their ERA is actually
They might not be able to read it at
under
home because it is a
2.
little smaller, but
For September, I believe it's under 2.
still, I mean, ERA 2.61.
But look at the opponent average.
Yeah.
Opponent OPS, that's like a hot new statistic these days, on base plus slugging or opponents on base plus slugging. For context, league average is the high 7s. So counting like the filler and bums in your bullpen, if your collective bullpen has an opponent OPS of 602, like that's damn
Right.
good.
And I mean, if you're first in every category and you're the bullpen, you know you played good baseball this season, you know.
Yeah,
And,
no, this is
yeah.
not a debate. Yeah, we're just
So
first across the
four
board.
guys in the bullpen with a sub 2.0 ERA.
Okay, I figured you'd get to that, and 70 innings.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's crazy, man.
And so it says here that's never before in MLB history to have 4 guys. So the 2003 Dodgers had 3. So
You know what his
Wow.
contract is? Is he locked up for a while? I know they were talking
think
about
so,
trade
at least
rumors.
another
Listen,
year.
this motherfucker will be in Cleveland for a long
I don't know his contract
time.
status.
He ain't going anywhere,
Right.
man.
I know he's locked up at least through next year. He's not anything. This is nothing incoming or anything. But yeah, I don't know the specifics of his contract. But
So we basically have like our Mariano Rivera.
So is this
Hopefully
wins
they keep him
against
locked up.
replacement?
I don't know what that
F
means.
WAR. I don't know because WAR is wins against replacement. I don't know what the F means. FIP is fielding independent ERA, so that means they actually factor in like how your defense has helped you and stuff to like really hone in on like the pitcher itself, how good they've
I've
been
never
doing.
seen
Yeah,
that.
I knew that was
FWR.
defense.
WAR's wins
stat.
above replacement. I don't know what the F above WAR
Okay.
means. But either way, even if you only know what 4 out of those 5 things mean, we're first in every category.
Right.
Looks damn good. And with those 70-inning sub-2 ERA guy, one of them got tagged. It obviously wasn't Smith in Class A or Gaddis. They've just been amazing. I think it was Herons, the 4th guy.
Herons.
And even Freshly getting tagged, it's funny, he still just barely made it into that threshold because obviously he had the 70 innings. And even after getting touched up, obviously ERAs are sensitive for relief pitchers. So he gave up that dinger or something the other day. Still checking in at the 1.98 ERA
Right.
to check those
All right.
boxes for the 70
Law of
innings,
averages.
sub-2 ERA. Yeah.
Averages.
It's
So that's pretty badass, dude, because
And,
it's like,
you know,
yes.
I think that's kind of going to be the bread and butter is hopefully, our starter will go 5 innings, 6 innings, and then we can get to our the arm guard and put the game away. And,
It's crazy, dude. And then beyond the top 4 of the bullpen, but wait, there's more. Sabrowski.
There's more.
Sabrowski and Walters both haven't given up a run yet in a relatively small sample size. And just like with the quirks of the expanded rosters and then constricting for the playoffs, already without the Quan and Cobb factor, we have to cut 2 people. Now, Quan's ready. That's good to go. Cobb, I think that's like 90% going to happen. I didn't read a recent update, but I think he's ready for our first series. So anyway, we've got 4 people we've got to cut, which is sort of unfortunate because we're playing pretty good, but like not cut, but not beyond the division series roster. So we're going to have to realistically, I'd assume we're not going to roll heavy with pitchers or position players. We'll cut 2 pitchers and 2 position players. It's crazy. Sabrowski or Walters has to be left off our division series roster. And Sabrowski, 16 or so scoreless innings. Walters, 10 or so scoreless innings. I mean, that right there is the smoking gun. It's like, Yeah, our top 4 relievers over 70 innings, sub-2 ERA. We've literally got 2 guys with double-digit innings that have not been touched for an earned run yet, and we have to cut someone. Like, that sucks, but then that's like kind of a cool first world problem. Like, there's some teams deciding who with a 6 ERA that like will look more ugly on the mound, and we're just like, well, which one of these, double-digit shutout inning guys aren't going to make the grade? And then they'll be on the
cut out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and they'll be on
in the league.
and then they'll be on the taxi squad. They'll be ready to go for the next round. So it'll be interesting. Like, we're going to end up. Hopefully, we play multiple rounds, and we're going to end up like playing the matchups and shuttling people between rounds. It's going to be a fun debate as far as who's on the rotation.
And it's funny. That's exactly what I'm kind of getting into here.
That F meant fan graphs.
So we did. You said what?
That F meant fan graphs, by the way. Whoever does statistics or whatever for
yeah. So that's just like a specific stats conglomerate version of WAR. Yeah. Like WAR is what it is, and then each of the major formulas like FanGlass and shit have a slight tweak on it. But at the end of the day,
that makes sense.
Yeah, WAR is WAR. It's just like this complicated formula, and then FanGraphs might weigh like one or two things more than another. But
so we did a poll last week after we did our last Honest Abe Sports Report, and we put it out to our followers about which team would you not want the Guardians to see in the playoffs. The Yankees, Royals, Astros, and Orioles. 70% of our fans said they don't want to see the New York Yankees. Do you guys agree now with this?
Well, no, I picked the Yankees. I personally don't agree. And sure, that doesn't look like the best pick right this second because the Astros are, like, going through it with the Mariners and, like, haven't even punched their ticket yet. But, like, I believe playoff experience matters. Like, the Astros have been to, like, the past 7 LCSs and just being kind of cocky and a homer. Like, none of these AL teams scare me a ton. So it's just like by default, if none of these teams scare you, what scares me? History, experience, pedigree, and the Astros have that. So
I said the Yankees because the way they hit homers, and I did see they have a plus 147 run differential, and the next team is Houston with 93, and then Cleveland's at 83. So yeah, with a plus 147 run differential. I mean, the thing is about the Yankees is, they can hit homers, no problem.
Their bat can change the game very quickly.
Yeah, their 2 through 5 lineup is so lethal, dude. They can be up on you like that.
I still look back to that game where you didn't place the bet. And there was fucking like 3 home runs hit in a matter of seconds. Yeah. I'm like, what just happened? We're down 6-0.
Yeah, that's the thing is, and like I said about trying to get to the 5th or 6th inning, I mean, it might be 6-0 by then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I try to tie in basketball here, but they literally remind me of the Golden State Warriors back when we played them all the time. Is you could turn your back for 1 second, and they could be up by 20 points in a matter of 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And with the Yankees, with that lineup, man, if they're on all cylinders, they're going to be tough to beat. But if we might catch a break and we could be on our bats there, and they might be struggling, because Judge wasn't hitting a homer there for a while. They were sort of on and off, and some other guys were picking up some slack or whatever, but to answer the question, I would definitely say the Yankees.
I think the Yankees too, just because their bats, like in the playoffs, if your bats are hot, it's scary to play a team.
Especially their pitching. I mean, you never know what they were going to get.
Judge and
Soto.
Soto. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Stanton's been cold too, but when he's hot, man, those 3 guys, man, they could tear you up.
Yeah, Garrett Cole's back. We were kind of. Obviously, any Cleveland fan knew Garrett Cole would have a late start to the season. We're hoping he would just be rounded into form, but no, he's back. Just the other day, he pitched 9 innings in a 10-inning game to hold off Oakland. So it's like any hopes of catching Garrett Cole at less than 100%. No, like Garrett Cole is Garrett Cole. So yeah, the Yankees are top heavy. Soto, Judge,
so we're all there.
Cole.
All right, let's head into the playoffs. I know it's not 100% set of who playing, but I know Tito, you wanted to touch on the National League a little bit. And the American League, so.
Yeah, National League first, I guess.
How's it shaping up?
It's shaping up pretty crazy. There's a lot of fun races still in the National League. The Phillies and Dodgers are still neck and neck for best record. Tonight, later on, West Coast, Dodgers-Padres engage in a 3-game series. Padres are 3 back of the Dodgers. This is huge. This is huge as a Cleveland fan, too, because World Series aspirations, it's healthy. If you have World Series aspirations, look ahead to the National League field. Basically, I feel like the Phillies in the National League have a way more decisive home field than the Dodgers. So I'm really watching to see if the Phillies or Dodgers get home field because, like, man, Phillies get home field, they're looking good. They're set up.
So who do you think the best team in the National League is?
I think the best team in the National League is the
Phillies?
Phillies. Because what I was about to say, the Phillies and Dodgers are neck and neck, and basically where I'm at right now, like sizing up who to fear as a potential World Series opponent, if things can go right for us, is it's like, man, if the Phillies get the 1 seed, shit, man, they're set up, they're battle-tested, they're clutch, they pitch, they hit. That's a huge home field advantage. You know, the Dodgers, they're just as talented as the Phillies, but they don't scare me as much home field advantage. You know, the L.A. factor, like all these hotshot assholes leaving in the 5th inning. Like, dude, I don't care. Dodgers fans bring the hate. Like, it's a known fact. Even in playoff games, Dodgers fans leave in the 5th or 6th inning. It's not as big of a home field if the Dodgers get it.
Call me crazy. I'm not a huge baseball guy, but I know at one point the All-Star game meant home field advantage for the World Series.
I know. I love that.
It was the best. It was the best
That was
All-Star
so cool.
game
Dude,
in sports.
Are you asking what happened, how that stopped? Because I'll tell you.
Well,
it's kind of crazy.
What is it
it's
now?
ironic.
The best
No,
team
now
in
it's just the best
baseball?
record.
Okay.
For 90 years or something, it alternated. Whatever. If it was even or odd years, it was AL or NL.
Okay.
And that was kind of dumb. But whatever. We stuck with that for 80 years. Baseball's stubborn. And then the All-Star thing, I loved that.
Yeah.
And for anyone that doesn't know, ironically enough, this ended in 2016. The Indians, at the time, we were the Indians, won World Series over home field over the Cubs by virtue of the All-Star game. The Cubs cried about it so much.
Yep.
And like, oh, we've got to protect the big market. Even though they won the World Series anyway on the road, the Cubs cried about it so much that they literally, after not having a change in policy in 80 years, it's like the Cubs just like flailed and cried about it for 2 minutes, and it was like, well, we can't have this. We're changing the rules again.
Then the players were playing for something. Now it's like phony.
I know.
They're miking up players. It used to be like they played so hard in that game, and it meant that you could potentially be in the All-Star game and then play in the World Series.
Especially coming from that dumb shit where it's like AL and odd years, NL and even years. Like, that was the dumbest thing ever. And then they changed that to the All-Star winner gets home field. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. But, you know, again, Great Lakes, chip on the shoulder, mid-market bias. The big crybaby Cubs. We're the third biggest market share, and we caught a bad bounce, so don't do that anymore. So, yeah. Thank the Cubs for just, you know, they caught one bad bounce, and then they just took the fun out of the All-Star game for the next 40 years. Thanks, Cubs. We appreciate that. So, you know, that's my mini rant on that. But that's how that all went down.
Can't wait to mini clip that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, you know, I never really held up much hope. We were terribly popular in Chicago. We go out of our way to take cheap shots at the White Sox whenever we can. So, yeah, that's fine. We just sort of punt on that market share. So
Kyle, I know you mentioned already. Who do you think the Guardians are going to play the first round of the playoffs? I know you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's going to be either. It's going to be. Hold on.
We're going to get the bye, right?
Well, yeah, we're going to get the bye. It's going to be the 3-6 matchup. So if the Astros can stop free falling, because they got a big lead,
the Astros or Detroit, it looks like.
Okay.
Now, but it's too soon to say Detroit will even be in or the 6th seed. Now, they won today. They'll probably be in. They're right there with Kansas City. Now, Baltimore's a tier ahead.
So potentially could be Kansas City, too?
Yeah, we can almost lock Baltimore into the 4, but
right.
Detroit, Kansas City, and even Seattle are all still players for the 6th seed a little bit.
That's awesome. Detroit was just like letting the Twins and Royals just beat the shit out of each other. And they were just like waiting in the weeds for them to start falling apart, and then they started rolling, too. I mean, I don't like any Detroit teams, but it's cool for that little small team to watch those guys. They might sneak their way in.
Well, the Tigers did win today.
Yep. And then my theory is it's best of 3, and Skubal is the best pitcher in the game right now because, you know, Chris Sale's 58 and Skubal, those are your 2 Cy Young winners. So we'll call Skubal the best pitcher in the game right now. So best of 3, in a perfect world, yes, Detroit sits on that 6th seed, takes out the West winner for us, and then – yes, Detroit's hot, but then they cool down, and then they do sweet in that 3-game series, and then hopefully in a 5-game series against us, you know, we're a better team than Detroit, and 5-game series is a bigger sample size, so hopefully we've got something for it.
3-game series scares me, man. I don't like that
Thank gosh that, yes, we only have like whatever, a 3% chance or something of regressing into the first round. Because, that 3 games is scrum. That's just, especially if you don't have an ace, because it's like, odds are teams are going to find a way to align themselves to have the ace for that first of 3 games, and then just, bam, You assume they got the upper hand that first game, and then you either take out their ace or you got to win the last two.
Yeah.
It's not a fun formula taking on a team with a bona fide ace in a 3-game series. So let's be glad that we are pretty sure that won't be our problem.
Yeah, you lose that first game. That's such a momentum killer in those series.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool how they do it. I kind of like it,
Yeah.
but I don't like when we're in it.
Right.
That's the only thing about
Yeah,
it.
it's all
100%.
fun and games as long as we're settled and waiting on the bye. So I don't know how we have the graphics set up and stuff, but just a little more of the National League. Like, do we have graphics for the series we're doing?
I did not. No,
Okay, yeah.
I did not.
So, yeah, the National League's kind of fun.
Talk about playoffs.
Yeah,
Still? Okay,
yeah, for
I'll
the
go,
playoffs.
No, I just put
Yeah.
MLB play. I'll go back to this graphic.
So the NL, you've got the Dodgers and Phillies within a half game of each other. And again, not to backtrack too much, but like in my opinion, I rank the teams equally, Dodgers and Phillies, but I just feel like the Phillies have a slightly more balanced squad and decisive home field advantage. So kind of just from a selfish standpoint, like what's the Guardians' easiest path? I'd like to see the Dodgers get that 1 seed. Just because I feel like Dodgers and Phillies are the same, and I feel like the Phillies will do more with the home field than the Dodgers. And then at the bottom tier of the National League right now is the Diamondbacks, Mets, and Braves are all in kind of a scrum. The Diamondbacks and Mets are about tied, I believe, and then the Braves are 2 games back. So we got this big
They're so wounded, too, with their lineup. They're missing so many
Dude,
players.
the Braves,
insane.
it's like 3 Shane Biebers. I'm glad you brought that up. Dude, Spencer Strider, Austin Riley. Just found out we knew Strider and Acuna were gone for the season. Ronald Acuna is the other guy. Austin Riley confirmed, like, not coming back and shit. So, yeah, dude, that's 3 consensus top 25 players. Like, dude, what a talent pipeline the Braves are. Like, they're going to fall short. I like the Mets to hold them off. They're ahead of them. And then the Mets have the Brewers, who are coasting the final weekend. And then the Braves have the Royals fighting for their lives the final weekend. So the Mets are going to hold off the Braves. But, man, shout out to the Braves for even, like, making this a discussion. Like, missing 3 top 25 players and just –
well, they saved their season
powering
with that.
through.
They saved their season at the trade deadline. They traded for Jorge Soler. He was basically the power hitter for the Giants. They got him for a freaking bag of chips. And they plugged him in at the number 2 spot or whatever, and he's been carrying that whole freaking team while all
Some
their
of my
other
favorite lines. Got him for a bag of chips.
Right.
They literally did. Like the Giants, they didn't know. They're so incompetent nowadays
know,
right
yeah.
now. They basically got him for nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, it literally saved their season with how many injuries they had.
Right. Fucking Giants, yeah. They're begging people to take their money for 5 years now, lose every bidding war, get a decent fine in Soler, and then give them way too cheap.
One more thing is for the playoffs. I look forward to it every year. The Dodgers getting worked in the playoffs and won it because they spend all this money on all these players and stuff, and then they choke right at the end. And I enjoy it every year, and I hope it happens
How
again.
about this? All this baseball talk, and Kyle's over here hungover. He's very quiet. All this baseball talk.
I'm just
He'll
listening.
come to life for the American League. He's like a snake in the grass. You watch, but yeah, dude. So it's pretty crazy. So the Dodgers fighting for home field. First, they've got to hold off the Padres. Like, dude, Dylan Cease and Michael King is the most underrated 1-2 pitching punch in the league. Jackson Merrill making a play for Rookie of the Year. It's like, dude, the Dodgers are better than the Padres, but hey, the Padres got a shot, and they've got some exciting players. Anything can fucking happen. It's pretty crazy. The National League is super crazy. Like, the American League's kind of crazy. The National League is
Baseball's crazy.
It is. It's totally crazy. So, just in a nutshell, reckless speculation, a lot of seeds to be determined. I don't know if it's my brain or my heart. Let's say the Dodgers take the 1 seed, less decisive home field, hold off the Padres. Phillies 2 seed. So then you've got your 3rd seeds, the Brewers. And what do the Brewers and Guardians have in common? Most of the pundits picked them to go 81 and 81, and each of them decisively won their division. But anyway, so the 3 seeds, the Brewers, 4 seeds, the Diamondbacks, or I'm sorry, the Padres are far enough ahead of the Diamondbacks. I'm confident the Diamondbacks. 5 seeds, the Diamondbacks, and then 6 seed, like I said, is the Mets, tentatively. So that's how I see it playing out. So then you'll have Mets-Brewers. It's a pretty good first-round series. And then, yes, the West runners-up, an awesome first-round series, is going to be Diamondbacks-Padres. Like, I mean, Padres are playing a little better right now. Diamondbacks had that awesome playoff run. Like, to me, that's going to be the best first-round series if that holds up, is the Dodgers and Diamondbacks. And then that's about the NL. And then the The AL we already talked about is pretty crazy for a lot of reasons. You've got right now at the bottom of the AL, you have the Tigers and Royals are tied. The Twins are one back. And this isn't factoring in the Tigers win that messes up a half game. But either way, it's such a scrum because you got Tigers, Royals, and then you've got Twins who own hella tiebreakers one back, and then the Mariners two back. So it's like, yeah, the Twins suck. They're free-falling. They're out of it right now. But they have almost every tiebreaker, and they're only one back. So I don't know, dude. There's no telling how this AL playoff field will play out. I guess tentatively, because this is
Everyone's
what we're doing.
so close. Everyone's within
Everyone
touch
is
of each
so close.
other.
Let's say Yankees. We're running out of time to catch Yankees. So let's say Yankees 1, Guardians 2. We have to assume, just because the position they're in, the Astros will barely hold off the Mariners. Orioles are about locked into the 4. And then it gets really interesting, dude. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, the Royals playing the Braves fighting for their lives. I think the Royals will hang on, but the Royals aren't in the best spot. They're barely in right now. They got to play
close.
the Braves fighting for their life the last weekend. I'm almost going to say the Twins back in. Give me the Twins and Tigers for those last two spots right now, which is fine with me. The Royals have scared me more than the Twins all year, and nothing's changed that now. So
Yeah,
let the Twins back on in
It's a
and weaken that
toss-up
AL
between,
field.
it's a toss-up
as far as
between
I'm
a few
concerned.
teams there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It can still go any way, especially with a lot of these teams still playing each other and really able to make some headway in the standings.
Our whole damn division is going to be in the playoffs.
That very well could
Yeah.
be. Yep. That is still an outside chance as Baltimore could fall off a cliff, and yes, all 4 of these guys get in the playoffs. There's not even an odd man out. There's just the 2 and 159 White Sox, only a slight exaggeration. You guys are just terrible. And the 4 AL teams. So, all right, Chicago, we've been really hard on you. That's like my 7th last Chicago joke today, I promise. You know, I'm getting it out of my system slowly but surely. And
But it's been a pretty fun baseball season, so we got to talk about this man, Shohei Ohtani. The season he's having, the season he really wasn't supposed to have because it was a rehab season. But Ohtani is the first baseball player in MLB history to hit over 50 home runs and steal over 50 bases in a single season, which is incredible to me.
Yep. That just shows that you're a well-rounded player.
yeah.
He beat my damn Marlins like a freaking pinata that game.
But it's crazy to think like he's a pitcher. He
Yeah.
fucking swings the bat. He can play the field. Man, it's like it's insane. Like I've never seen a player like that in a long time.
Well
Yeah, we
worth
take
money.
him for granted. He might be the best all time, and he's the best player of our
Now, a lot of
generation
people don't know this,
by
but
leaps and bounds.
for a while there, especially earlier in his career, Babe Ruth was actually pretty good at stealing bases. Despite him being...
You kidding me? It was
No.
like you running to second base.
Well, catchers
or
weren't as
you.
sophisticated at containing the running game back then.
Well, he
Luckily
knew
for him.
he knew enough about the game
Yeah.
that he knew when to run.
Right.
I hate these big bases. I feel like the stolen base has been totally devalued, but you know, so it's funny. Like in my fantasy league,
But
like
isn't it still? It's still the same distance.
it is still the same distance, but these big bases are helping a
Well,
lot.
you
Like
think
there's no disputing the statistics. Stolen bases are up like a good 15 to 20% since they added these big bases.
When did the big bases come in? Last year?
2 years ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've had 2 seasons of that now. So it's funny, I kind of did the runaround in like the group text in my fantasy league, like, Ohtani's going to go 50-50, and I'm just like, oh, who cares? Everyone's stealing bases. But then it's like, well, is anyone else even close? And no, not really. Actually, our own Jose Ramirez is close
How much
to
big-
going 40-40,
How
but no
much-
one's close to going 50-50.
How
So
much
it's impressive
bigger are
as
these
fucking
bases?
They're a couple inches bigger, and it's made a huge fucking
Okay.
difference. Because that's the
Just
main
curious.
rule difference they've made. Well, that and one throw over to first base. But mostly the big bases, I think, has been the bigger difference. Because,
Oh, you can only pick off one time, one
yeah,
throw.
one throw.
Oh,
yeah.
see, that helps the
Yeah.
statistics
So just as
well.
a point of reference, let's say as recently as 10 years ago, you were a pretty solid defensive catcher, at least in the throwing aspect. If you were in like the mid-30s, like say throw out 38% of base stealers, it's like
Yeah.
don't test that, dude. Now it's like you're an incredible catcher if you're in the mid-30s. Like
Really?
if I'm not mistaken, like probably like someone in the top 5 is lurking with like a 30% caught stealing rate. Like it's become so easy to steal bases, like the industry standard has shifted from say like 60% to like the mid 70% of
Wow.
like stealing. Like yes, the average guy, if you run 8 times and get caught twice, you're a mad base stealer.
Yeah.
Like 6 out of 8's mediocre. That's not like you made it 6 times and got
Right.
caught twice.
Wow.
It's mediocre. Like,
I didn't realize
that's
that.
how much the running game has changed. And some teams have done better at capitalizing on that more than others. But the running game has
Yeah, I
changed
think
drastically.
some of the catchers aren't very good at throwing people out either.
Well, yeah.
But do you also think it's like the players are faster than they
Yeah.
once were too? Like it could be
A lot of factors.
bigger, faster,
Yes.
stronger, smarter,
Better athletes, beneficial rules. Yeah,
And the
there's a few
coaching,
things
too,
we,
has advanced. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
look at Sandy Alomar. I mean, the Guardians players are just great at stealing bases.
And I just think it's crazy. It was a rehab season for him, and he's
Yeah.
doing what he's doing. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to,
He's gonna. They were talking about he's probably gonna pitch again next year because he had that elbow thing or whatever during
Tommy
the offseason.
John.
He might even pitch in the
Yeah.
playoffs, they're saying.
Maybe that'd be some shit. I
Yeah.
mean, he's well worth the money. I mean, for,
what his bat did, I don't think he's going to pitch again.
Pop-
And not- like maybe it's like he's not going to be a starting pitcher. Like that ain't happening. I don't think so.
he
I
might.
don't
said-
think it.
dude,
he
I-
scored too many runs, dude.
I
That's
said
no
the
runs.
same thing, and then people threw it right back at me like, dude, his pitching numbers, and it's like, dude, yeah, he's leveled up as a hitter, not having to worry about pitching, but his career pitching stats, dude, they're too good to ignore pitching. He's going to pitch again. Like, they might
once a week.
They might turn him into a reliever. They
What's
might give him
more
more
important?
rest, but, like, they can't leave that
He
alone.
has a
They
really,
can't leave that alone.
He
He's too good a
he
pitcher.
did throw hard, and he had a really good splitter.
What would you guys say is more important, scoring runs or a better pitcher? What would you rather have?
runs all day for what he's
I'm
putting
scoring
on.
runs.
What
I'd
he's
rather
scoring
have-
runs.
Yeah.
He's scoring. fuck
In
ton of
today's
runs.
game,
For how
yeah.
many runs he's putting
Because
up.
the days of starting pitchers like going 7 innings a ton are over. Dude, I
Yeah.
love pitching. I respect pitching. I'll stand up for pitching more than any guy. But like today's game, yes.
Do you pitch
a
or
guy?
catch?
Right. Well, I prefer pitching, but it all depends on how drunk I am at the truck stop. No,
Yeah, I mean, a team with really
we're not live, are we?
See, we're not just all sports. We're comedy too.
Exactly.
I mean, a team with a really good pitching staff is going to beat a team with a good hitting staff that has weaker pitching.
Yeah, no, like if he was on like a different team, I mean, the Dodgers can go out and buy a good reliever. But I was thinking,
Yeah.
like, what if they put him, like, instead of him starting, they basically have like their Andrew Miller as a reliever of a guy that can just go there and from the sixth
Yeah.
to because like from the fifth to fifth or sixth to at least the eighth, he would knock these guys out left and right.
Yeah.
And he's not getting used a lot. He's not getting overworked.
And not
as
to
a
mention,
pitcher again.
yeah, not to mention the guy's like
It's-
32 or something and has never been in the major league playoffs. So like
Yeah.
he's going to seize the moment. I don't know how good the Dodgers are going to do in the playoffs as a team. But
He's gonna save
I
them.
have
He's-
no
he-
doubt
yeah.
that Ohtani is going to really
Yeah.
show up and be a problem.
He's the only reason they get there. I mean, they got some good hitters, but he's the only reason if they get to the World Series. I mean, for how much money they spent on him, they better. But he's done his part this whole year.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you look at his contract, I mean, he was paid so much.
He deferred
Part
a
of
lot
that money, I know he deferred it, but part of that money is like we're expecting you to pitch too.
Yeah.
And luckily, with the Dodgers spending spree, one more thing. Yoshinobu Yamato, I might have it pronounced wrong, but they're other
Yamamoto.
They're other, yes.
I'm not even going to try to say that.
They're other.
I call him
they're-
Yokohama.
Their other multi-$100 million off-season investment. He's been downright pedestrian. Which,
Yeah.
thank gosh, even if he had only been like a slight disappointment, we would just be sort of like, yes, Dodgers, we'll get out of your way. Take the 24 World Series. But luckily, that dude, like, I mean, he hasn't been an unmitigated disaster, but he hasn't lived up to expectations.
No.
So that's good because, yes, the Dodgers won the shit out of the offseason. So luckily that guy was a little disappointing and cracked the door open for everyone else to call this kind of wide open year.
Between that and they got that Flaherty guy from the Tigers, that was a good trade for them. He's
That
like,
was a good trade.
basically saved their starting pitching rotation for what they got because these other guys, they're like, the only reason they're getting saved is because of this guy.
Right.
Runs wise, so like their pitching, I don't think they're sort of in the same situation as us. It's like some of their pitching ain't the best, but they're not bad, but their bats carry them through, and that's gonna be an interesting playoffs because I don't know, I couldn't even tell you who to pick right now as a favorite. Whoever gets hot, I
There's
guess.
some pretty damn good
Yeah.
teams right
Yeah,
now. Like,
I mean, I would say the Phillies have earned the
Yeah.
right to be called the favorite just because they're so balanced. Like, the Dodgers have been almost as big as juggernaut as them, but, like,
Yeah.
the Phillies are just so balanced, like, at the top of some pitching and key hitting standpoints that, you know, I would call them the favorites, but I would qualify that by saying it's an especially wide open field. So, you know, they're not as dominant as a favorite as dominant favorites have been in years past.
you boys ready to talk About our Cleveland Browns.
Well, yeah, that's
Our
enough
stupid
stalling.
fucking Cleveland Browns. God dang it.
I got a little of it out of my system. I was on another broadcast when this was all fresh and awful Sunday night, and obviously I was disgusted by that celebration, and I just figured I'd go first because I'll be really quick. Like, that celebration sucked. I hate how we couldn't key on neighbors. It's just like game planning, defensive coordinating 101. If like they have one guy that's threat 1A and 1B and 1C, how do you not even slightly adjust or slow him down a little bit? So, yeah, that celebration was dumb. Our stubbornness of not keying on neighbors was dumb.
Yeah, Emerson
That's
just kept
about
getting.
all I have.
Emerson
Turn
just
it
kept
over to you
getting.
guys.
Emerson just kept getting burned by him.
And speaking
And
of
I think later on in the game they actually put Ward on him.
That's how it should have been to begin with.
Speaking of the celebration, too, like,
So-
people are defending the celebration because there was once an NFL where you would get flagged for celebration. Now they're saying, like, now you're making fun of them for celebrating.
I
But-
love having fun and celebrating, but
So
like
when
there was
you're
a
getting your
flag on the
goddamn ass
field.
kicked, when you're
Yeah.
getting
Right,
your goddamn
right.
ass kicked,
So right,
You don't celebrate.
One of the players should have said, "Hey, man, wait, there's a flag."
I must
Before
have
they did that, and I don't know, like they had to have noticed there was a
I
flag.
bet one of them did, and I bet they were just like, "Fuck that, we're
Yeah.
on TV. Let's just do our thing." And it's just
must-
like,
Yeah,
man,
so
dog.
Newsome, he hit the quarterback with his arm, I believe, and that's what caused the flag.
the helmet. It was the helmet to the quarterbacks.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think he was just trying to stop his momentum.
And you're not allowed to hit the quarterback. You can't hit him low. You can't hit him in the helmet.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking bullshit.
You can't even hit him a second later.
And I
after
played
they throw the
quarterback.
ball.
Hit that motherfucker.
I must have missed that celebration. I was at a
Oh.
racetrack. I watched the highlights.
Dude, it
of
was
Yeah, it was so weird. Like
it was
they-
like 3.5 minutes after there was like 5 flags on the
well,
field.
they
and
said
were just
they
like,
said the flag was actually on the field for like 20 seconds
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
they.
Sounds like a Cleveland thing.
Here's-
I know.
And here's
Just
my thing.
insane, dude.
I just don't understand what the Browns think that they were doing. The New York Giants were the worst run defense in the NFL. We ran the ball 7 times for 7 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
we're trying to make Deshaun to be the hero here, and it's not working.
And that's the thing is,
But then the second half, we ran the ball 16 times for like 74 yards. I'm like,
all right,
you're
hey,
gonna do that out of the gate to help Deshaun? Like,
It's like Week 1. Stefanski's game plan is completely ass backwards. How they didn't use
Yes.
Ford at all for the first game or whatever, and all of a sudden when we're down by fucking
and
20-something.
the Cleveland
they
Browns
start-
have thrown the most passes in the NFL.
I
The
don't
most
get it.
passes in the NFL.
It's like the most Cleveland thing where, like, this is what it's supposed to be like our bounce-back game. Like,
Yeah.
you know, get some things going right, make sure everything's tied up. Hell no, they made Daniel Jones look like fucking Tom Brady. Like, I
Yeah.
watched the highlights, and I was watching some of it at the racetrack, and we had our TV hooked up, so I was peeking at some of it. And I'm like, it's the most Cleveland thing. Like, Stefanski, I don't get it. Like, I don't know if it's him or Dorsey. I know they said Stefanski's calling the plays.
Right. But they're still
But-
talking back
Yeah.
and forth. Like, people don't understand, like, everyone's like, Stefanski needs to give up play calling.
It's such an easy scapegoat when they say that.
even if Stefanski gives up play calling, your head coach still has the final decision on anything.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter who your coordinator is.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're the coordinator and head coach, like I was a head football coach, right? So I had a coordinator. He was my play caller. But if I vetoed him and say, no, we're fucking doing this, I got the final say of what was
Yeah.
happening. Same with the defense. The head coach has the final call on all aspects of the game. So I'm sick of hearing, oh, well, he needs to give up play calling. Well, he still has the final say, period. Like,
And it's not like, because when when they're in the huddle or whatever, once that play clock starts, I mean, they got from 24 seconds, I think that radio thing cuts off at like 15
Yeah,
or
I think
10.
it's at 15.
So it's like he has like 10 seconds to really, like, by the time they relay a play to each other,
Yeah.
it's not like the coordinators are up there fucking playing rock, paper, scissors and who's calling the next play.
right, exactly.
So it's like, I don't get it. It's like, it's just the most irritating thing is that was supposed to be our bounce back game against the worst fucking team in the league.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't get it. I can't
and that
stand
was a
it.
Cleveland fail. And
Yeah.
it was at home, but I did want to talk about Deshaun Watson, and I know he was sacked 8 times, but Deshaun Watson has always been sacked.
And they did bring this up. I was listening on the radio. He's been sacked. He was the most sacked quarterback even when he was in Houston.
Right.
And you think he was? I mean, they were good.
And the
wasn't
thing
this last
about
season
him
they
is
go 4-12.
When he
Am
runs,
I wrong with that?
Yeah, for the
The last season for the Texans.
Yeah,
he was
that's-
4-12.
yeah.
So I'm like, How good is this motherfucker?
And when he drops back and then he starts running around, he never puts two hands on the ball. He only holds it with one. And then, so then a defender will come up and just knock it away, and it's a strip sack or a fumble. And I wish he would try to hold the ball better with two hands when he knows he's going to get hit. And then another thing about his throwing, like I saw probably a half dozen of passes that he made that were not even.
I saw a few more.
5 yards,
5 yards out of bounds. I saw a few more.
Well, it's like Hunter said, like the sidelines need to be moved.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like he's just to that 4-12 season, he was just his stats wise, he was just as good as Mahomes that year too. It was just that team was a train wreck. But besides the point, you know what they need to be doing is they need to get that Batman light that they put out. They need to put Callahan's name on it because they are missing that dude so damn bad.
They are missing him bad.
But if you look, I don't know if I have it on my iPad here. If you look at, I sent it to a bunch of people. The guy that is taking over, like
I don't even know who he is,
but he's legit too. Like he's been with like every team, and he was with the Patriots like through their Super Bowl wins, man.
And their line's bad too right now. They're about as worse as us.
But so I'm like, coaching.
Callahan, they shouldn't.
They're still NFL football coaches. Like they're not like the worst coaches in the world.
And the guy they did bring in to coach our offensive line, I forget his name. I think it's Dickerson or something like that.
It is Dickerson, yeah.
Now
I think it's Andy.
He has a good reputation, and but the thing is now is with our injuries.
There's just no chemistry. I
know Zinter's doing good in there, but with our injuries now.
But let's remember, last year the Browns had injuries on the offensive line.
Yeah, I know.
Flacco took over. There was a guy we signed off a practice squad to start, and Flacco did just fine. Yeah. So I'm like, is it just Deshaun's not gelling with Stefanski's offense? Like, there's something off here,
right?
And that's without Chubb. I mean,
now,
we're out with
I will say, so with our offensive line being injured, now you got guys that are not playing in their normal spot.
Right.
So, like, I think they said they had Bitonio playing on the other side.
Right. And another thing, like you said, Callahan, too, like, I think Callahan might have done a better job of operating guys that were hurt last season compared to the guy that
was he might have been.
I think that's where Callahan was the better manager of where guys are going, in my opinion.
And I do believe the Giants have 3 All-Pro
defensive linemen. Yes, they did.
And
they showed
it seemed to me they were in the backfield all over Deshaun.
The strength of their team's the front seven. So I was hoping that we could hopefully torch their secondary a little because the strength of their team's the front seven. But yes, they owned the front seven so much.
I don't know why. I don't know if the routes the guys are running or what Deshaun's process is, but it seems to me that he holds the ball too long.
So long.
And I think I remember like with Flacco.
It was quick.
He would get the ball, and he was in the shotgun, and there's no way he could move around like Watson.
The ball was out.
His old ass. He didn't
but
want
he
to
knows
hit.
He can't get out of trouble, so he's like, I know I need to get the ball out.
That fast tempo offense.
And, Watson, and another thing about Watson is not only does he hold the ball too long, but one thing I kind of noticed is when he breaks to actually scramble, it looks like he looks down.
Yeah, because he's running, yeah.
And I don't know if that's so he can just collect himself and get a better first step. But it looks like he kind of takes his eyes off the field for a second or two. And I don't know, just the way that with our offensive line, it's just not working with him right now. And hopefully it can come together.
And that's kind of what I was getting into because we've talked about how many games will Deshaun start. And I think we were all around the 12 to 14.
Even if he figures something out, he might not be able to play next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be...
his first good game will be his last game, and then the hammer will come down with the discipline. So whether it's in 1 week or 3 weeks, he'll finally have a good game.
That attorney's supposed to go to
it won't be lights out. It won't be lights out, but it'll be like at least he almost had 300 yards and wasn't awful. And then that Tuesday, it'll be like, oh, it's so bad. There's like a 98% chance he's missing the season.
And that's the thing. It's been very
quiet
almost book
for
the last 2 weeks since our last show.
That's what I was about
it's
to say,
been very, very quiet. Like
for now. It's not like this is just going to go away.
No. But there was talks about that video coming out on our last show, so we haven't seen that yet. Or
that's all still in the works.
So I'm like, what is
at some point?
So something's going to come out eventually.
Well, yeah, that attorney said 2 weeks, so I believe that would put us at. Well, like I said, he may not start week 4, so it should come out this week.
They're going to have to make a trade for a tackle or something.
I'm ready for Jameis.
Yeah,
I'm ready for some Winston.
It's getting to that point. I mean, they got. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what.
Well, hey, let's go into our next few games because now it's not easy games. The Raiders beat Baltimore. Washington's fucking quarterback looked like a superstar last night, and their defense is playing well. Then you go to the Eagles, and then you have Cincinnati coming to you. We could potentially be 1-6.
So we might
guys.
we would have Winston starting all of these.
But we could be potentially 1-6.
Yeah, that's
with the games
definitely, and we're not going to beat Gardner Minshew. That's an L.
Their team. I don't know if you've seen
This
their.
could be an L. These 3 games here are probably all an L.
The Raiders got some problems though. That game Sunday, did you see their head coach call out those guys that were they were down a shit ton?
Yeah,
and they were
I did
like
see that.
The cornerback, he has a history of like if they're down late, he's not tackling. That guy will be running at you and he'll like act like he's going to tackle you, and then he'll just like fall off, let someone jump on him.
So he picks his spots.
Who's the Raiders head coach?
Antonio Pierce.
Pierce.
So he called him out on the presser after. He's like, we were going to make some business decisions too.
No, he did.
And they might. What's his name? O'Connell, I think, the guy that quarterbacked, Aiden O'Connell, I think.
Yes,
he quarterbacked for the Raiders last year. He might start Sunday. I don't know yet. He came in at the end of the game and played pretty good.
Yeah,
So
everything's up for evaluation once the Panthers thrash you. Like, Minshew hasn't earned, like, automatic starter. So, yeah, I'm sure they're going to look at everything.
That game against the Raiders could be a mess because we're a disaster right now, and the Raiders are kind of a disaster.
But if you
it's
look
gonna
at
be,
it, though, the Raiders 2 weeks ago beat Baltimore.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Arguably one of the better teams in the NFL.
Yeah. And the way they have Max Crosby, man, with our line, he's –
And
you
then
see what Micah Parsons did
And
to
then
him.
Washington last night, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they're rolling.
They fucking smacked who they play last night?
Bengals.
The Bengals. They smacked them.
Yep.
And man, that quarterback looked good.
Jaden Daniels.
Daniels looked like man. And
Rookie
you know
of the
what's funny?
year.
And you know what's funny? We didn't even really talk about him when we talk about rookies of the year.
Oh, he got no
Early in the
love.
season,
No.
he
I
got-
think we all went Williams. You went Knicks.
Yeah, and Williams don't look good.
Yeah, Daniels is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, so
He's
we
got
didn't even
some-
talk
So, yeah,
about him.
shame on all of us. We flubbed our early calls on that rookie class.
dude, just what a weird season it's been so far. I mean, the Bengals are 0-3.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the Eagles lost to the Falcons.
And speaking of that too, like our division, like the Browns fans are panicking, and we're like third in the division right now. Like what? Like
Well, the
we're
Eagle-
tied. Like
yeah. Well,
the
the
Bengals are in last place right now, and
Yeah.
we're panicking. Like
And we're pretty good against them at home, but I don't know. I mean, they're due to beat us here sooner or later, but I don't know. It's just Washington with their like system they got going on. I mean, they're not. Everyone wanted to look at them as a bad team, which I did too. Jaden Daniels is such a hit or miss right now, but he's got a hell of a head coach in Dan Quinn, and then they got Kingsbury or Cliff. Yeah,
and that's
Kingsbury
where I think it's really helped Jay Daniels as well.
Huge, because that's what. I mean, he looked really. I don't know. We'll see. And the Eagles came back late as hell against the Saints Sunday. They should have lost that game. The Saints defense imploded the last one. Goddard caught that ball and he ran all the way down, and they scored. But I mean, the Raiders is going to be 50-50. Eagles, that's a loss. Bengals, I don't know. It's going to be.
Yeah, we might beat the Bengals, but
I hope so.
These next 3 games could be an L.
Though. We could lose all 3 of these and be 1-4. Now, the only thing that comes to mind that could save this season is Chubb's got to be ready for this home game against the Bengals, because that will, even if we're 1-5, that re-jolts the entire Browns fans. Re-jolts them because they're going to be ready for Chubb to come back.
So
and play.
he was on the physically unable to play list, so he is eligible to come back week 5 against Washington.
But I said don't play him on the road. Save him 2 more games. Let him have his return at
That's
home.
a dangerous game. Then we save him 2 more games. Then we're 1-6, and then we're like, you know what? Just take the year off.
No, 1-5.
We're gonna have a top 3 draft pick anyway.
We need him back here so we can win.
Pretty much.
I think so.
Our hand's been forced, man. I hear you, but our hand's been forced. It's just like bring him back now or don't bother, because
I would let
it's that kind of
him
party.
have his return come back at home. In my
We
opinion.
do not have that luxury, dude.
You better win some of these motherfucking games.
It's just irritating
All right,
because
so I'm going to say 21-10 Raiders.
it's going to be irritating because once Chubb,
I think we win this game.
I think it's
But
going to be close.
I think
but
we lose the next 2, and then that puts us at 2-3 heading into ball.
We're definitely not beating the Eagles.
13-10 Raiders.
only
The torch mob comes out for Deshaun. The defense shows out.
24.
Give up 6 points in 3 quarters, and then the Raiders break our heart with a 4th quarter touchdown and win 13-10. And then it's just like, all right, now we've got to bench our quarterback because we just scored 10 against the Raiders.
I'll go 24-20 Browns. The only reason we win that game is Myles Garrett has to get after it. Myles Garrett needs to come out and
Now, I did
try and
hear
save us.
he's dealing with a foot injury.
They got an MRI, and it came back back good, so
Oh,
he's
all
good.
right.
There's
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah,
wrong.
right here, right now, I pretty much hold Crosby and Garrett in equal esteem. And for us to have any chance, even though I think they're about equal players, yes, Garrett has to run circles around Crosby. Crosby has to be a non-factor, and Garrett needs like 12 sacks, and 2 sacks, and to wreck the backfield.
It's
for
just-
us to
Dude,
get
right
that.
now, Crosby's licking his chops, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It's just irritating.
Because
how-
even if you think Garrett's the better player, which sure, I'll entertain that. I love my Browns. Garrett's a beast, but like, who has the better matchup?
Yeah,
You know, Crosby versus our line, or
He can
Garrett
line up on
versus
any
Aaron?
side. It don't
Oh
matter
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
It's like we're saving we're saving Chubb for that Bengals home game. It's going to be irritating because even when he was healthy, you know it's bad when the crowd has signs in the stands saying feed Chubb because they're passing the ball 50 fucking times. So even when he comes back, I mean, he's sort of our glue that holds us together, even though he's the most low-key guy, but I don't know. Something's got to, we're going to really find out between these next 3 games,
Yeah.
before that Bengals game, what our season's going to be.
Yeah,
'Cause,
well,
I mean,
well,
it's going down the drain
No, because
really
then
fucking
you have
quick.
Baltimore twice, Pittsburgh twice,
Yeah.
Cincinnati another time.
Oh yeah,
That's the
Don't
only
get
reason
nothing
I-
harder.
You have the Chiefs yet?
Yeah, and that's the only reason our season's not completely done yet is because the way the division is. Because the Bengals are 0-3, the Ravens lost again.
Yeah.
They're the same record as us. I'm banking on the Steelers because they have their back half of their schedule is absolutely brutal. So like right now, I mean, it feels he's
Yeah, I
playing
saw
awesome.
the
I'm
Steelers.
good. I
They're
mean,
3-0.
I can't stand the fucking Steelers, but good for Fields for
Man.
making that situation work. But we'll see. I mean, there's a long way to go still. So we just got to get our shit rolling before the Ravens figure it out.
Making sure.
Yeah. The Browns got to get it together here.
Yeah.
So I put this in there real quick because I'm going to pop a blood vessel talking about the Browns. But we did a poll earlier in the week, which is our most voted on poll, which was the most devastating Cleveland Browns experience. I think the fumble won. I don't know if I wrote that on here or not. The fumble was the most voted on.
So that's when Biner fumbled it like the one.
Like the 3-yard line
Yeah.
and touchback against Denver. But what was yours that you voted on? Tito?
I did end up picking the fumble.
You did
after
it?
all that noise I made about all the other shit. I picked the fumble, dude. I think I was 6 years old when the fumble happened. I still remember it was like yesterday. Like, what the fuck, Biner?
Let's see if I can
God
find it
damn
real quick.
Yeah.
But like, some people voted on even like the decision was another highly voted one. Let me see if I can
Mine
pull
was,
it up.
I don't know what I voted, but I don't think I voted on it. But if I had to recall, because I obviously wasn't around for the fumble. I mean, as a football fan, obviously that'd be number one. But
That's
for
like
my
things
time,
we just heard about,
yeah,
like growing
but,
up. Yeah.
But my time
Yeah.
would be that fucking rain delay against the goddamn Cubs.
Yes, so
In game
Yeah,
7,
that game
I can
subtracts.
tell
That
you-
was
Wait,
in that
I
Delta
am-
fumble. but
I
game
am-
I
seven-
was there for that game.
Guys, I'm sorry. The fumble did not win. Game 7 versus the Cubs.
Yeah,
Game
2016.
7 did win.
Rain delay
Yeah.
won. I'm sorry.
So
That
I can
hurts
tell
so
you
damn
what I
bad.
was doing for that. So
22 of the votes.
at the time, I was working at a gas station. I was listening to the game, hurried up, closed the gas station, sped home. And I remember looking at the radar, seeing it was going to rain. And I was like, God, they should just try to get this game in, And then, so we were down in the game, and I remember Davis hit that home run.
Oh yeah, that was.
And it bounced off the camera on the home run porch.
Yeah, the left side.
That
yep.
video was
Yeah.
sick about
Yeah.
it too.
And
dude.
Yeah.
everybody went nuts. And so my dad actually had given up and had gone to bed. He thought we were going to lose. He's like, well, Kyle, one thing you're going to learn is it's tough to be a Cleveland sports fan. So he went to bed. So I'm sitting there watching, and then this home run happens, okay, and we were tied. And I went nuts. I started jumping around the
So
living room.
clutch, dude. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite sports memories. Anyway, so then my dad wakes up and he's like, what's going on? Did we win? I was like, no, we tied it. And then he came out to the couch and he watched it with me. And, of course, the rain delay came. And I think it was one of the Cubs players, made some big speech.
And then that season was back when the AL East was on top of the world, and we dispatched a very well-regarded Blue Jays and Red Sox team
Yeah.
to get there. So I really felt like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I don't remember who the Cubs beat, like
Well, I
Daffy Duck
remember-
and Elmer Fudd, and then we beat the Blue Jays and Red
And I
Sox.
know
So it's
we,
just like, we've got this, man. We had like a tougher path, but then, yes, unfortunately, you can look at it one of two ways. Like, we've got this because we have the tougher path, or what happened, the tougher path caught up to us because the Cubs just sort of
God, that's-
lollygagged through the NL on those cupcakes.
It was
and then-
kind of weird. Like, I went. We were 3-1 in that series.
Yep, yeah.
And I
At
remember
one point
I
we
went
were
out.
well
I
in
went out to the
control
bars
of
on a
that.
Sunday night, and
Wait,
now
you at the bars?
Yeah.
No.
it was a Sunday night. Okay, But there was like nobody out. I was like, we might win the World Series tonight.
Yeah, that's
And of course we didn't. But I'll always remember it. I mean, see, the thing is that hurt about it was that year I was listening to a lot of baseball because I was working during those hours. But anyway, when Davis hit that home run, it really got my hopes up. And then just to get stabbed and have us lose, especially
the ebb and flow. Because once Davis hit the home run, you got to be feeling good about it.
Yeah, they had the stage behind the stadium or whatever on a big screen, and we were all down there watching, and that rain was coming. I'm like, man. Because, back then, obviously, they didn't have the pitch clock, and it's the World Series, so there was like 100 fucking TV timeouts. And I'm like, bro, it is about to start pouring. Like, they need to get going here.
Get your ass moving.
It's the most Cleveland thing.
And looking at that, if that was today, with the pitch clock, they might have got that game in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Revisionist history. It's fair to assume that.
It's the most Cleveland thing, too, is the Cavs came back that year down 3-1 and won the title. And then later on, the Indians choked that 3-1
That was the piper
lead.
to pay. Like, hey, your city doesn't get a 3-1 comeback without blowing a 3-1 lead.
That would have been some shit after all those years.
Yeah.
Both of our teams would have won the
I will say, though, that season really did rekindle my interest in baseball.
Every player had a purpose on that lineup, dude. It was filthy.
I remember, man, I was working at a gas station, and just to pass time, I would listen to the games. And man, we had such a great team. I remember we had Mike Napoli and, of course, Andrew Miller.
Every trade was perfect.
Cody Allen.
And the money they spent on for once was perfect.
We should have got it done that year.
Yeah,
and
then it all seemingly fell into place.
I remember when we won that big World Series game with Tomlin pitching.
Yeah.
I remember everybody was at Caps watching that, and everybody was going crazy. And, man, we should have got it done. But, hats off to the Indians for that season. Hopefully, man, I really hope we can win this year. But please, if we go to World Series, if we do lose, can we not lose it in 7 games?
Yeah.
Well, at least go to Game 7. Makes it more exciting. Just more devastating.
Just don't be up 3-1. I don't give a shit.
I'd rather lose it in 6 games. So there's something about that Game 7 where it's just like, it just kind of almost makes me nervous just thinking about it.
This hurts because we were at home too.
Yeah, all right, let's get into our Week 4 game of the week. We have the 3-0 Vikings head into Lambeau Field to take on the 2-1 Packers. I'm taking the Vikings in this one, gentlemen. You like this old school?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, NFL Phil. Is Steve Sable here?
Yeah, I really like that.
That.
Just going to turn it down a little
That's
bit.
a good effect. I like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Hey, so is Love still out?
Jordan Love, I heard, is still out as of right now.
Now, I will say the Packers have been getting well.
Vikings head into Lambeau Field.
If Jordan Love plays, I'll go Packers.
Yeah, me too.
Score.
Who with the
Well,
Vikings?
he's still out, right?
I believe Jordan Love is still out as of right now.
I'll go 20.
21-7 Vikings.
Yeah. All right.
I'm taking the Vikings in this one. I think Sam Darnold is playing very well.
Yeah,
and their defense is pretty
very well.
See, and that's another thing about the league being weird this year. Who knew Darnold was going to do so well?
Because y'all motherfuckers lucky my boy JJ ain't playing because he'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah, no way.
No way.
The way he was
Bullshit.
playing, the only way he would see the field is if Darnold got hurt. And no, in prime time, that actually what might have happened. You'd been freaking pissing your pants over here.
No, I would be. I'd have been like, what the fuck is going on here?
I'll go 27-7 Vikings.
I'm going Vikings 27-13.
Packers 28-17.
Wow.
I think Love he'll probably be like a late Thursday, Friday. Like they'll find out.
I love this Jair Alexander Jefferson matchup. I know Jefferson. I'll say he's pretty much hands down the best receiver in the NFL, but Jair Alexander's a shutdown corner. He's already got 2 picks.
Darnold is due
and teams avoid him, dude. If you're a corner who teams avoid and you've got 2 picks in 3 games,
Darnold will have a regression.
I respect that. Everyone knows, fantasy wide receivers being glamorized. Everyone knows Jefferson's top 5, but on the other side of it, Alexander's top 5, and I just happen to think, I don't know Love's status, whether he'll play or not, but either way, I think Alexander gets the best of that matchup.
To be honest, the quarterback that's playing for the Packers played well.
Malik Willis.
Yeah, Malik Willis.
What
played
you
well
talking
this
about,
past
Willis?
week,
Well, yeah, no, he seriously has.
Another.
which is surprising.
In week 2, they just survived running the ball 50 times, but that didn't, as predicted, that didn't work 2 weeks in a row. And yes, Malik Willis actually had to do something.
Run
and
the ball.
He got through it.
That's what I was about to get
Run
to.
the fucking football.
That's what I was about to say. Player to watch for that game is going to be Aaron Jones. It's his first game back against the Packers after they let him go.
Revenge game.
Revenge game
Yeah.
at Lambeau
Division
Field,
game.
too. 2 touchdowns easily.
All right, let's go into college football game of the week real quick. Let's be quick with these. In college football, it's the battle of the 3-0 teams. Georgia will take on Alabama in the SEC showdown. Thoughts on the game?
Georgia. All day.
Even though Georgia had that close one with Kentucky, 13-12 last week. Or 2
Yeah,
weeks ago
yeah.
now.
That makes.
I'm
me
like, that's
concerned.
that's where I'm concerned because really, but I'm also concerned Alabama hasn't really played anyone yet either.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
Well,
I'm back and
Alabama
forth
just
on it.
beat Wisconsin by 32, and maybe this isn't going to be a standard Wisconsin year, but, like, yeah, man, give me Alabama fresh off a 32-point win over Wisconsin versus – I mean, maybe I'm stuck in 1995. To me, Kentucky is a basketball school. Georgia just beat Kentucky 13-12. Like, I get it. Every 10 years, Kentucky has, like, maybe a flashy wideout or running back. But what do they have on defense? What is Georgia doing in perfect weather in September, scoring 13 points on Kentucky? This is college football where good teams get almost 50 points sometimes. They score 13 on Kentucky.
Isn't 1997 when we drafted Tim Couch from Kentucky?
1999. Dude, that was just my hot take.
99,
It's
I'm
funny.
sorry.
We were all bitching about the Browns, and just as long as everyone's going crazy with what ifs, I kind of ironically was like, well, it all went south when we took Couch instead of McNabb 25 years ago. That's my hot take.
Couch could have been good. He just got beat the fuck.
Basketball school. Don't draft a quarterback first overall to start your franchise from a basketball school. Jamal Mashburn, all those Hoopers, Kentucky, good. Drafting Kentucky football player top 5, bad. Disastrous. Even a 10-year setback, really.
I'm going Roll Tide. 16-13.
Yeah, I got the Tide pretty decisively. Let's
Think
say
it'll be a strong
35 to 10.
game?
No, I'm
Tide.
rolling with the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, Bulldogs.
Go down.
All right, Dogs and Tide.
Yeah, they
Battle lines have been drawn.
I miss how the old head coach, was Bergeron or whatever his name is, go Dogs.
Yeah.
Go Dogs.
They got 66% of the money line on Georgia for this game. They have the over-under at 48.5.
That
You're
seems
saying
high.
16-13.
That seems high.
Yeah.
Over under.
Yeah, I'll go Georgia. I'll go 30-24 Georgia. Late in the game
Late?
they come. Yeah, it's going to be close.
I'll take 27 to 24 Georgia.
It'd be a good game. 7:30 on ABC. That'd be.
Well, that would actually be the over. So.
Yes, both the ranked opponents play at 7:30 tonight. It is a rough. Let's not sugarcoat it. It is a rough Saturday to be a college football fan, chomping at the bit for the noon games, because you've just got to sit there and watch the Montana State Truck Driving Academy play like top 10 teams until 7:30 when the two good games are. Like, that's bad scheduling,
Has
dude.
Ohio
If you
State
only have
even
two
played
games,
anybody
make one of
good
them.
yet?
No, Ohio State hasn't tested themselves
They
at all.
play
Ohio
Michigan
State could
They
conceivably
play who?
Michigan State
Yeah.
this week.
Oh, all right.
Ohio
So, I
State
mean-
could conceivably be 8-0, and like
They'll
if
win
they're
by
not
2
impressive,
touchdowns
yeah,
or
if they're
3.
not impressive, they could be like 15 in the polls because like they don't test themselves until the end of the year.
They're 3-1. They're 3-1.
Maybe it'll pay off, maybe it won't. Maybe the teams that test themselves will lose 3 games, and it'll look smart not testing themselves, but we'll see. I'm a little worried.
Hopefully for that noon game, Michigan loses to Minnesota.
No, they
Fuck Michigan.
Michigan.
That would be pretty cool.
Michigan has a little bit of a cakewalk now until they play Oregon.
So do Texas. They play Mississippi State. They're 1-3.
Yeah.
1-0. That quarterback. They said Arch Manning. He's gonna stay for 4 years.
Dude, you know what's crazy? Like he's starting this week. Aren't
Yeah, they're probably going to put Ewers in back in when he comes, but I think Manning should stay. I mean, that team, they're going to be legit for a while now, like
Manning's going to start now?
as of now
He's starting this week.
until Ewers comes
For
back.
Texas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, we've hit our sports trivia, and I laugh every time I see this graphic. Just so goofy. Who would like to start off our
All right,
trivia? Hold on, let me-
Do your weird thing
I will
first, just in
start.
case that takes 10 minutes. Or Kyle, you could start if you want.
I'll
Whatever.
start.
It's not a weird thing.
Okay.
It's not weird. Don't-
You had to be a little worried with your
no, it's
conditions.
not. No, nothing
Okay.
crazy.
All
Trust
right.
me.
Okay, so here's my question for you.
Here
And
we
it
go.
does have a little bit of an intro. Okay. So on Sunday, the Browns did induct Jim Donovan, the sportscaster, into the Browns Hall of Fame.
Phil Dawson was the other
They
guy.
also-
Phil Dawson.
Yeah, they also inducted
Did I
Phil
win,
Dawson.
or was that not the
No,
question?
That's not the
All right,
question.
I had to try. I burned up my first guess.
Now,
He gone.
yeah.
Phil Dawson.
Shot my shot a
Phil
little bit.
Dawson is the number 2 leading scorer in Browns history. So the question is, who is the number 1 scorer in Browns history?
All right, fair
for
is fair.
points?
I know this, but I already burned mine up.
And
So you guys go,
now,
and you better get it.
Your only hint,
because I know it. I know this.
and your only hint is it's one of the names up on the wall, on the stadium.
You guys got to get it
now-
the first time.
I'm
I am
going-
ready to mop this
if
up.
you-
to
if
sick and
you-
tired of
now,
it.
now,
I'm
if
going
you-
Jim Brown.
No.
Shit.
Is it Ozzie Newsome?
Nope.
Lou Groza.
Got it.
Oh, Grozer kicker.
He was
Played
a kicker, yeah.
I knew it'd be.
man.
I had a feeling it'd be a kicker. I just forgot about him.
I made a conscious effort
Dude, an
not to show you guys up today, and yet here we are.
1,608 points. He played with the Browns from 46 to 67.
Jesus.
That just means
268 games.
the pressure's
He was a
on.
kicker.
One of you guys has to get my question. In my heart of hearts, I feel like there's a 90% chance one of you will get my question. You guys have to keep up. You just have to. This is the softest, easiest question I've had this whole time.
God damn it.
So let's do George's and then let's do mine.
Oh, you want mine first?
Yeah, let's do
This
yours.
would probably be from
Just
like
in
All
case
right.
that
No,
takes
so
some time.
I went baseball. I went far
Oh,
off
okay.
track here.
I did
Oh
too.
boy! All right.
I do have a rule here, though. I'm not going to tell you the right answer right away because there's a reason. 18 players in MLB history are tied for hitting the most home runs by a single player in one game. So my question is, what's the most number of home runs hit by a single player in one game?
4.
5.
5.
Fucking Tito got it right. It's 4. 4 in one game is hit by these players: Mike Schmidt, Willie Mays, Gil Hodges, Sean Green, Lou Gehrig, Mike Cameron, Shooter Gennett, Carlos Delgado, Chuck Klein, Joe Adcock, Josh Hamilton, Pat Seary,
Wow.
Mark Whitten, Rocky Cavito, Bobby Lowe, Ed Delahanty, J.D. Martinez, and Josh Hamilton.
Shout out to Josh Hamilton.
God,
Guy
damn
legit
it.
spent half of his adult life as a crackhead and won
Yeah.
like 3 home run titles. Like,
That dude could be
man,
legit.
if that guy could have kept his head on straight for more than a whatever business day, he would have really done
Tito's
some damage.
eating us up, boys.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is. He's already got a touchdown.
Yeah, someone's got to get this one. Again, I'm going to qualify. This is as easy as it gets. I'm going right back on my bullshit in 2 weeks. Someone's getting this one. All right. In the 2000s, oddly enough, only one man won multiple NFL rushing titles in the 2000s. Who was that man?
Oh, man.
Overall NFL rushing titles in the 2000s, there was only one 2-time winner.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yes, correct.
Damn. That was
7 and 8.
my guess, too.
I knew that was attainable. Okay. I'm glad. I felt bad running away with it again. I'm glad someone did
The
something.
only
right.
reason I knew that is because my best friend in high school was a big LT fan.
Yeah, okay.
They were just so good in the 2000s
Yeah.
against Brady all the time, so I was like, it's got to be
Yeah.
LT or Peterson.
I think-
Well,
Right.
well,
I
Yeah.
he started late.
Between
so-
Peterson, LT, Alexander, there's
thinking-
only 4 good guesses,
Well,
so
I
I'm
was
like,
thinking
someone's getting it.
I was
There's only
thinking,
4
like,
good
Larry
guesses.
Johnson was in that
Yeah.
mix
Oh,
in there
yeah.
too, so
Yeah.
I'm like,
he had some
ooh.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jamal.
But we're all doing a good job asking questions that are answerable.
All right, now let's get to yes.
All right, Hunter.
All right. And for the Indians in 2016, who led the team in RBIs?
Oh, fuck.
Edwin Encarnacion.
Nope.
Jose Ramirez.
Nope.
Get your second guess ready, because
All right, I got a second guess.
He's probably going to get it with the second guess.
Lindor.
Nope.
Napoli.
Yep.
That's what I was.
Really?
I was about to say, party at the Napoli's. You said the name earlier. That's why you brought up his name earlier. I was like, motherfucker, they're going to get my answer here.
Damn,
once
dude.
He tied with Ramirez in homers for the team that year at 34.
Guys.
Encarnacion wasn't on the team until 17. Or like the later.
Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Next
signed him the
incarnation,
next
right.
year.
Yeah.
I'm
That
in
was-
second.
All right.
I'm coming for your ass.
I'm still bringing up the caboose.
Kyle and I haven't moved in like a month.
All right. Now that I got a 4-game lead, I'll ask an attainable question in 2 weeks. But then after 2 weeks from now, I'm way back on my bullshit. I swear.
Yeah, Tito's going back to the vault.
He goes, I'm never getting caught. Fuck you.
Dude, he's got a comfortable lead now.
All right, gentlemen, final skid marks to end the show.
Oh, hey, good job of the Guardians getting that pennant. I'm going to buy another one and put it on my wall with my other one. I do have a 22 pennant. Hey, I do think these Guardians are a little bit better than the 22 Guardians. So we'll see how far they go. I'm glad we're not going to see the Yankees in the first round. Man, I can't wait for that playoff baseball to start. We all got to go out and check it out, watch the games. So yeah, go Guardians.
Tito?
Yeah, I mulled over a couple of more attainable predictions. Let's just get weird. Right on the cusp of it. I don't know if it'll be from us, but Josh Naylor has hit some basic metrics, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, contract year. Unfortunately, I don't know if it'll be from us, but he's on the cusp of a big payday. He's going to sew up that big payday in the playoffs. Just going to go ahead and say Josh Naylor, ALCS MVP. That's what I got.
All right.
That'd be cool.
Hunter?
Yeah, good. Guardians getting some momentum. Hopefully they keep it going. Hopefully the Browns figured what the fuck else they got going on. I don't know what to. Nothing shocks me anymore with them. But we'll see what happens against the Raiders. I mean, that's going to probably. I keep saying this. Probably every game will decide our season how it's going to go. But we go there and we get shellacked. That is not. Well, I don't see Watson starting next time we have a podcast.
Yeah,
I don't.
Neither do I.
I will say this is Kevin Stefanski, after losing a game, has the best winning percentage after losing a game. So I will say that, and I'm also going to say Baker Mayfield sucked last week, but also Baker Mayfield, after sucking, comes back and has a great game as well.
They probably will.
They will.
Yeah,
he always does. He always bounces back and throws for 300 yards.
Shout out to Bo Nix for that game. He played it. That was probably a good confidence booster.
So
yeah.
pissed.
Hey, go Broncos.
Well, there you have it, gentlemen. As always, I'm George Gresko alongside Kyle Carini, Hunter Combs, and the baseball whisperer himself. Please share the show, tell a friend, follow us on social media. Be on the lookout for our next sports report coming in the next weeks, because we'll be able to talk playoff baseball here soon. Don't forget, Honest Abe will tell no lie. Goodbye! See you right! Peanuts! Get your peanuts!
Baseball beer. Hot dog. Get your hot dog.